All right, looks like we are live. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We are excited. The new week for the year. This is going to be the first full week of the year, first Monday today. So, super excited. And markets are looking pretty phenomenal so far. And really, everything that we've been kind of talking about, it's playing out, right? Just exactly what we've been kind of talking about the last few weeks, and definitely some more upside. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. How are you doing, Bits? And how has been the new year so far for you?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been chill. Same thing, trying to kind of ease back into it over like the weekend. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this will be like the first full week where I'm actually like sitting down and trying to kind of get back into the groove and been going through my calendar, just freeing up, trying to figure out because I want to make sure I'm continuing to kind of push myself to get on streams, make content, do all of that. But yeah, look, I mean, I think we're off to a good start. We're here. We're live. We've been on Spaces. The markets are moving. Hopefully, we get some setups here. Either today or tomorrow, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we start the year off the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely slow year for me so far, like for the trading at least, right? Because we are just coming out of the holidays. I was mostly flat during the holiday season. I did catch the Solana um, breakout, and I did take profits on that as well. But
Nice.
yeah, definitely excited to be back. There is just so much happening right now. I do have a few spot trades open, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But as far as the day trading goes, as far as the leverage trading goes, I'm not in any trade currently, but definitely looking to position myself in. There have been some really phenomenal setups. I know the community has been getting into some of these plays. I mean, last night, if you actually look at it, pretty clear move during the Asian session, right, to the upside. And a lot of times what happens is that if you have the right indicator set up, and you could actually spot like a pattern like this during the late US session going into Asia, you could pretty much, like, I would have, if I was looking at the charts, I would have definitely taken this trade going into the Asian session, and then basically catching this move. And I probably would have exited, you know maybe somewhere here or here. um, but this is pretty awesome move. And if you guys remember during the last stream, and before I actually get into this, just want to make sure that I make it very clear, whatever we are talking about here, none of this is financial advice. We are just doing some analysis and looking for trade setups for ourselves. And really, it's for all of these streams are for educational purposes only. So I just wanted to make sure that I throw it out there. But basically, we were talking about the death cross, right? And I made it very clear that whenever we have like 50, 200 to 50 death cross, which is like the higher EMA crossing over a lower EMA, that's a bearish indicator. Whenever that happens, the price would usually retest the 50 EMA, and in a lot of cases even go above 200 EMA. And then after that, it would basically reject and do its thing. And so we are seeing some pretty awesome price action. Of course, we are above 50 EMA already. So now the next, of course, would be going over to that 200, and even potentially a little bit higher than that, right? And so 200 EMA coming up very, very soon. I would love for the price to retest that, and maybe even push it up to 100K. I don't know if they're going to get that far, but I mean that would be pretty phenomenal if we get there. We also need to look at the weekly, and I really want to point out to this pattern here on the weekly chart, which is what we saw after the first death cross of 2022. This was a pattern that we have to remember. So we had basically a little bit of a chop, and then price had two clear bullish green candles. Or really, in this case, it's just showing me that there wasn't much of a volume, right? It was still like a bullish setup on weekly, like upside candles, but it was not like green. So um, it's just basically price moving up. And then, of course, after 2 weeks, it just consolidated for another week, and then we had a crash that was pretty awful. So something like that could still play out here, right? We are coming out of this consolidation. This is your first weekly candle, maybe another week or two, and then things are going to start to be, could get a little bit shaky from there. So we just need to be very careful. Now, I'm not going to be blindly shorting it, right? I'm going to need some sort of a confirmation on smaller time frames and then positioning ourselves. And of course, once we get there, we are going to start talking about it, what we are looking for, and all of that, right, for confirmation. So excuse me, but that's really what you need to compare it to, is this price action here. Could it last a couple of months, chop here? Maybe. And it would be really awesome if it does that, right? Because if Bitcoin gets choppy, maybe alts can make a little bit of a move. And of course, the small caps will run. Another thing to also remember, if anyone has taken the tax loss harvesting, they usually like to wait a little bit before they position themselves in, because they don't want to be, you know, they don't want to do wash trading essentially. So they'll usually wait until, either mid-January to get back in, or even until February sometimes, especially if they're bullish on Bitcoin, right? So if there are institutions, or if there are retailers that are bullish on Bitcoin and they want to keep it for the rest of the year, then they will be positioning themselves, anywhere between mid-January to mid-February. So that's like a time frame that I'm definitely watching to see what kind of price action comes up. Anything really green above 100K will be a bonus. It will be great for the markets, great for KOLs, great for content creators, great for advisors, great for projects that are launching. But I'm not going to be counting on that, right? If it gives me more than 100K, great. A lot of questions that I've been receiving lately, especially after the recent move, is, lady, what would make you bullish, right? What would invalidate your thesis on the 4-year cycle? When can you say that 4-year cycle is over? The answer is pretty clear. Really, it all boils down to whether or not we have another new all-time high. So let's say if we have a new all-time high this quarter, then absolutely, with 100% certainty, I would be the first one to say that 4-year cycle is over. But it's not going to happen. I can tell you that from experience. I can tell you that by looking at the chart. I mean, the yearly close that we had, it was the ugliest yearly close that we have seen in the history of Bitcoin, and it's dangerous. It's not a very good pattern. It's a very, very ugly pattern. So usually, if you see something like this, I mean, this is pretty much a um, basic, right? Basic technicals. If you know anything about chart reading, if you know anything about candle charts, you should know that this is not a bullish close. This is a very ugly close. You should be very scared if you're a bull, right? And usually what would happen is price could come back, maybe up until here, or even it could go as far as, right here, maybe this candle. And then it's going to start to show you the true colors. And in most cases, it will only go above, very, very little bit above this. It's a bad yearly close, right? It's the very, very ugly close. And so, and I've said it in a lot of conversation. So it's like, so now are you admitting that the 4-year cycle as we know it is over? Well, no, because it's just telling you it's very much intact. We just created a top when we were supposed to in October, exactly the same dates that Bits and we were talking about. And it created that top. And now we have a very ugly close, which tells me it's definitely going back down. Like it's pretty much a fact. And so if anything, this is a dangerous close, which means that, you could have 2 years, potentially even 3 years of red right after that. So you just have to be watching very carefully, because price could bottom out next year and then maybe retrace a little bit high and then come back again next year and maybe close somewhere here in a chopping move, right? So we could get like 3 red candles. That's definitely a possibility. But yeah, just calling it out, right? So wanted to throw some of those things early on, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the stage on to Bits of Wealth so he can get through this. I have more stuff to share later on, but go ahead, Bits. The stage is yours.
Awesome. Let me know when you got my chart switched up here.
Yep, I'm going to take mine off. I'm going to add yours, and I'm going to post the link in all of the groups that I'm in so people can join us.
Cool.
There you go.
Awesome. So yeah, let me kind of give you like the I mean, I don't know that it's a higher time frame, but we can. I mean, we can look at the higher. I think you covered it pretty well. There's some room to the upside, but like I think the probably the most important conversation right now is just kind of this 4 hour chart. Um, you know, it's pretty clear if you look at this, and maybe it's maybe it takes you kind of having like a trained eye to see it, but there's a bit of a range here, and sure, there's been some moves that you could say are outside of that range, and you could even probably say that the range is here, right? And we're slightly above that now. But the point I'm trying to make is there's a very clear range. We've had some highs up here, we've had some lows down here. For the sake of just like keeping it simple, we're just back at the top of this range. Is really the only thing that's changed here. There's been some levels that I've been monitoring on the way up, namely like this like 90K level was the first one I was watching. Was ready to short if a short presented, did some fishing, and on BTC, I was able to get out at a slight profit here on this pullback here, and then did not reshort BTC again. Some of the alts I was trying to fish, like Solana was one I was looking for based on this move with an XPL, but those kept going, right? And it shows now why they kept going, because we saw some strength show back up for BTC here and for the entire crypto market. So really, if we weren't going to get some type of reversal here around this like 90K area, then the next zone I'm really interested is up here, is these highs here, like 94, 95, maybe even close to like 96, right? These are the next highs. After that, I'm really not interested in anything up to about 100K. 100K is that next level. This black area here for me, it's like no trade zone. I'm not really looking to do anything there. So I'm kind of just waiting right now. The only place I'd be willing to take a long from here would be if we came back down here, right? This would have been a beautiful place to take a long from on a rejection from 90K, if it would have rejected from 90K, because that was essentially what I would have been expecting, right? Is like if this 90K area was rejected, much like it was here, like it was here, like it was here, even that you could say, right? If this would have rejected here, I would have been looking for the same thing that I've been mentioning, which is I want to come down, take these lows, and then reclaim, and then it gave the move up. Didn't get the rejection. Instead, what we're getting is we're getting some follow through to the upside. So perfectly fine, no problems there. We're now coming back up to some prior highs. So there's two things that can happen up here. In my opinion, we're going to get a bit of a cool off, and this at some point will reject, and maybe we come back down. First level I'll be watching is now that 90K area, right, for any potential support, because we broke above it. There is a potential that this comes down and that holds a support, and then that gives us the next leg up, right? So that could certainly happen. If that does not hold, then I know I'm looking down here already, because there's going to be liquidity from all of these bottom ticks that we had here, right? So basically everyone that was longing this range, their stop losses, their liquidations, all of that's going to be here. So it would make sense for a move to come down there if the 90K level does not hold. If 90K holds, this will probably be left, right? It'll be left. This will go higher. And then at some point we would come down and probably take that, right? If the market is still coming lower. The other thing that could happen up here is we could also flip this range high here into support. And that could happen one of two ways, in my opinion. Either we do come back down to the 90K, like I said, right, if we get a rejection here, and then on the next attempt up, that flips it. Or you could also have a period where this just kind of ranges here, builds some kind of strength and momentum to go above it, and then ultimately you need to flip the top of this range, right? And I think that's the more likely outcome here. There is also, I guess you could say, maybe a third, which is like you get some catalyst, you get some momentum event here that drives liquidity, and you get a big pop up through this range. And then I'd be looking for it to come cool down and try and do something like that for the next leg up, right? But these are hard to predict, because the nature of these events, whether it's white swans, black swans, this type of stuff, it's impossible to know it, right? I mean, it's I'm only kidding myself and kidding you guys if I'm going to pretend like there's some way that I can foretell that something's going to happen that's going to pop up like this. I don't know how you could possibly predict that. So I think the more likely outcomes is this is either going to cool off, comes back down. We'll see if it can hold 90K, and then it does something like that. or this kind of just chops here, builds up some strength, and then at some point it's able to flip this entire zone with enough price acceptance here just into support. And then we'll flip all of this red into green. And then we've got one more green level below BTC as it works its way up to that 100K. To the upside, I'm pretty set on just kind of watching the reaction at 100K. Could it go a little bit above that? Yes. We could go anywhere between 100 to probably about 110. Like those are the areas that if I zoom out enough, there's some confluence there. There's reasons for me to be looking up that high. So, you've got some structure up here at about 100K. That'll be interesting on the way up. But then you also have some up here, right? You've got some weekly levels here that are pretty important here at about 107 to 110. At 100K though, you do have a lot of volume weighted averages that are crossing here. I believe the VWAP from 2024 is still up here, like at 99 or 100K. So the volume weighted average price is going to be up there. You've got EMAs up here. You've got the longer term EMAs as well. I've got those turned off right now, but I think I can flick them on really quickly. But you do have some of these EMAs up here, right? This is the 50, I believe, this light blue one here. So we've got that up there as well. But yeah, if you turn on some VWAPs, there's definitely some levels up there to pay attention to. So, and we can zoom in and look at those, but you've got the 12-month rolling, you've got the quarterly VWAP up here at about 99. And then, like I said, you did have, which is basically this 12-month rolling, which is the 2024 anchored, would also be up here as well. So a lot of reasons to be paying attention close to 100K if this strength continues and we don't cool off for a little bit. But that's basically my outlook for BTC right now. I'm trying to keep it simple. I'm not super eager to short this just yet. I'm just not seeing it. I've been watching the 15-minute. It keeps pumping. Although it's got a ton of volume to the upside and volume is decreasing a little bit, I'm not seeing like red volume. What I would want to see is if this thing's going to roll over at some point, I want to see just one big final push, big candle, big volume candle, something like that, just massive volume candle. But then I want to see a subsequent big red candle right after that green one. So you'd have a big green candle followed by a big red candle on volume, and then probably engulfing price action to the downside. And then you can look to participate on that move down, on that confirmation, back below EMAs, back below maybe the top of like this here, something like that, starts coming down. Easy to put on a confirmed setup like this, easy to just put a stop loss above something like that, participate somewhere down here, even if it comes up a little bit. The likelihood when you get a big volume signal like this and then an engulfing candle, usually those are pretty good. They're not, it's not 100%. I don't know that anything is 100%, but it's got a pretty high hit rate. So I'd be willing to play something like that. And I'll talk about that more on the streams that I'm doing. Again, I'm kicking those back on this week. So I will be back to doing my twice a week evening streams where we're kind of like looking at the market before Asia opens up. So if we don't get this set up today during US hours, if it happens to set up during Asia or going into UK, we'll probably talk about it. I don't know if I'm going to stream tonight. I might be able to stream tonight. If not tomorrow night. I'm trying to still figure out my evening schedule. But yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm just being patient here, letting BTC make this move. And then when it's ready, it's going to signal that it's ready. Like we'll see that confirmation. I don't really care to catch the absolute top. There's a lot of, there's a lot of clout in doing that, if you will, I guess, if that matters to you, like for CT clout. But it really doesn't pay as well as a lot of people think. There's a lot of chasing that's involved, a lot of getting stopped out as you're trying to pick that absolute top. And not a lot of people are sharing that. They don't share how many times they swung before it actually connected. So I'd rather just wait, let it get the confirmation. I think we'll see it across the board on everything. If we're patient, we'll see when that signals. Doge is another one I'm watching. So same thing. It's had a massive move, but it's not quite ready yet. Like I want it to signal, even if that means that at some point this does that little blow off move, it comes down, it breaks structure. I've got a clear invalidation, and then I can look to participate for the rest of the move like that. So yeah, I'm willing to be patient here across the board on a lot of these, but we can get into some of the alts in a minute. There is one that we should probably talk about, which is that the ketamine horse. That's
Oh, yes.
that's
Yes,
all. That's
absolutely.
almost at target. It's still working. It's still working. I'm a patient man. I'll let it work. I'll let it come to target. But we can look at that. We can look at some of the other ones I'm watching, like Chart Guy. You've called a couple that are doing really nice. There's the one you shared
Mm-hmm.
that was at like 600K and it's up massively. So there's
Mm-hmm.
some meme coin action that's happening. There's some alts, like even if I'm looking at XPL. Let's talk about XPL actually, because this was one of the last ones, I think, Lady Trader, that we it's one of the last ones that I shared on my streams, but I think even on your stream on these ones that we're doing together, I think it was a FOMO Friday or it was
Mm-hmm.
on one of our streams. I can't remember, but we talked about XPL, and I mean the XPL entry we shared was down here. I mean,
Yeah,
we
very low.
bottom ticked XPL, and then we talked about this move here about if you missed the bottom entry, here's your chance on this retest, and it has just been an absolute performer. I sold too early. I sold it around here. I probably should have held it, but it was coming up into some structure. So I was like, I'm gonna get out. I don't know why I didn't leave a piece. I usually leave a piece, but it was the holidays. Like it's just, I didn't make the best decisions there. I was just distracted. But it's been a runner. I do think though, I'm looking at XPL right now, though. I do think that, and again, this will have confluence, right? If BTC cools off, if the market cools off, maybe it pulls back a little bit. I think that there's a potential that XPL could also do a little bit of cooling off. It probably has one more push to the upside. Like it probably needs to trap that liquidity above. But if it does that and it goes up, fakes, right, traps people wrong side, comes down, breaks structure, maybe if we're lucky, it gives a retest here if it doesn't just absolutely melt. I think this could pull back probably somewhere down here, right? And so it's not, it's not an enormous move, but it's a good 20% to the downside, 25% to the downside. And this would also, again, I think at this point, this would be another opportunity for us to look for longs. If this thing starts coming down here, we can look for some long opportunities for that next leg up, while everyone's
Mm-hmm.
panic selling down here because they think it's so over. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, this is great. XPL also tends to do this where it will grab the liquidity to the low, as
Yes.
low as it can go before the reversal. So that's
That
another thing we need to be watching for. But yeah, this was a phenomenal trade. I think this was great. And I think the short opportunities will be there and also the long
yes.
opportunities. So this will
Yeah.
be awesome.
Yeah. Let's see if it sets up. It's still early, but if we start seeing some signs of weakness on BTC, then we'll definitely start paying attention because there's a bunch of these XPL, Zcash, WIF, like just there's so many of these that have moved that
Mhm.
at some point could give a little bit of that back.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to remind everyone also to please make sure that you're liking and retweeting the space and also leaving a comment because it does help with visibility. Let's get as many people up here as we can get today. First Monday of the year. Market is looking fantastic right now, and lots of opportunities it seems like that are building up. So yeah,
Yeah,
please go ahead and share it.
100%.
All
Did you
right.
want to dive into anything on your end, or should we move on to maybe some alts? Like, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I can dive into a couple of plays that I shared as well.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I need to bring it up.
Or
I'm
even
gonna
anything that
actually.
you're eyeing, like even something that maybe we should watch for the next like 24, 48 hours, like what's on your radar, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm positioned pretty well right now for that,
Okay.
and I'm gonna talk about this. And we've actually called out some of these during our live stream as well. I'm gonna share my screen again. Let's see if I
Yeah.
can get
Go
the
for it.
window back up here. Um, where did it go? Okay, here we go. Mm, and I can't see the live for some reason on. Okay, can you see it, Fitz? Dex tools?
Yeah. Yeah. We got it.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. Oh man, my StreamYard is looking weird right now. I don't know why. Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm gonna move this down a little bit. So, okay, you can see it better now. All right. So what
Yeah.
I was
That looks
talking
great.
about really was Tears. This was a play that I shared super early, actually. It was on live stream. We've called out. There was actually the first move where, the very first time I shared it, it was actually around the same time. It had another run. Let me see if I can get the Dextrose back up. I don't know why Dextrose hates me. Dextrose team, if you're
I don't
listening,
know, but
please.
I can't stand Dex tools. That's why I switched to Dexstream. I'm like, ah.
I need to do that. Let's see if I could. I think it has to do with price and market cap or something like that, or vice versa. But okay, here we go. So this one we've been kind of sharing during our streams quite a bit. This is a political meme, and I just want to make sure that I put this disclaimer out there. They are very political. It's a conservative focused coin for the upcoming midterms. And regardless of your political affiliation, I think it's a great play. They're doing everything by the book that you should be doing, right? And so they're doing everything by the book as a political coin, very conservative. There's gonna be a lot of memes that are gonna be very offensive. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Just throwing it out there for anyone. I mean, if for myself, I'm a Muslim. They've been posting a lot of anti-Muslim memes, and I'm okay with it. I'm like, go ahead, do whatever you need to do, and that's what it is. Like freedom of speech.
Do whatever you got
That's
to
what
do
we
to
do.
pump your bags, huh, Lady Trader?
I don't
It's
mind.
like
Make me money.
you want them to do whatever they have to do to pump those bags.
Exactly. And I don't mind. Obviously there's going to be offensive memes, and it's like, you know what? Go ahead and do whatever you need to do to pump up the coin. And I don't care, frankly, what somebody else believes in, or, if they want to bash Islam or anything, go ahead. You have the freedom of speech. I will fight for your freedom of speech. That's what I believe in. So go ahead and do that. But yeah, if you are somebody who gets emotional about those things, then this is not for you. But if you're someone who has their emotions under control, and they believe in, just when it comes to trading and opportunities in crypto market, you just look at it that way, then this is a good play to research. I'm not giving any financial advice here. I'm not asking you to buy, but my buys were at the bottom. I did a lot of accumulation under $1 million market cap, and I'm very happy that I did. It is over 3.5 million. I think it has room to grow quite a bit. I feel like if they continue to do what they're doing with all of the memes that they're coming out with, I mean, it could really blow through this and maybe even go higher. I don't know. I'm not going to give price target on this, but up until midterms, I mean, this has a very good chance, especially if they do what they're saying what they're going to do, which is, onboarding politicians and, some of the great things that they're talking about. If that happens, that's going to be pretty awesome. So, but it was a great call. We had a Previously, our group also got into it, and we did ride it all the way from 3 to about 20 mil. And it was, I still had some from my previous buys, and this time, I bought a lot more, and I'm going to be pretty much holding it through and through for a long time. So this is one that I called out. The other one that myself and Bits also called out was Alpha Meta, or A Meta. And this project was sitting at it was actually we were it was on the downtrend at one point. Let me see if I can again change that. I don't know why it does this, but it's just weird. It takes a little bit of time. Here we go. Okay. So price was in the downtrend a little bit, and Bits and we were looking at this chart. So this is a project that I do advise. I work very closely with their team. They are fantastic. And I was telling Bits, I said, Bits, what do you think about this chart? Price was, I think, somewhere around here back then, probably somewhere around there. And Bits was looking at the chart, and he said, you know what, if it goes to like 3.8 mil, that would be once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm quoting him directly. He said once in a lifetime opportunity. And he drew something where he said, you know what, it's going to probably do something like this. It's going to come back here, and then it's going to go up. And, he went all the way up, like above that. I remember how he drew it. And it did. It's doing so far what we were thinking it was going to do. Of course, I had the fundamentals, so I know this is a very strong project because they are about to launch a lot of tokenized assets on there. They will be actually launching tokens for oil wells in Texas. And they were talking about something about potentially even onboarding some major actors from a certain TV show. I don't want to talk about it right now, but it's good. So they are talking about a lot of those things that they're going to be doing, and then also there will be tokenizing one of the biggest Solana's or the biggest Solana's treasury, and it's a Nasdaq listed company. So lots of good stuff coming out, and they will be launching all of these projects on a low market cap, right? So this is not your typical. These people are not tied to IDOs. Like we've all lived through the IDO horror stories. This is a completely different crowd. We are dealing with the DeFi folks. The dev of this project, he's from the DeFi world. He's not from your VC, the greedy type person. He's a very somebody who really cares about the community, who really wants to create small market cap coins that then can go in hundreds of millions or even more. So that's really his outlook on it. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Again, not financial advice, but I'm bullish on it. I also have my position staked because I earn the staking rewards, Ethereum rewards that can really go back into the pre-sales that they offer. And then it's pretty awesome. So I do lock up, some of my tokens there in the staking pool, and I'm waiting for the pre-sales to happen, which is going to be coming up here in the next 4 to 6 weeks. So excited for that. But this was a really awesome opportunity. If anyone was watching the stream, I know quite a few of you did get into that 3.5, 3.8, whatever it was, and it worked out very well. Bix, do you want to add anything to that? I know you didn't know much about the fundamentals, but you're looking at the charts. You called out the bottom exactly as it is. Oh, Bix, can you hear me?
Oh shoot, I was muted. Yeah, look,
no worries.
I've always kind of stood by like the methodology of just like looking at a chart, not really digging too deep into other stuff. And there's limitations to that. I mean, the truth is there are some limitations to it. You probably don't get some information that could be relevant or could be important, but to me, I've always felt though, like from a trading perspective, not from investment, just from like trading perspective. And you could apply some of this to like investing as well, because even when you're investing, like it does help if you get a good entry versus a bad entry. Like think about long-term investing, like even BTC. Does it
Yep.
is it easier if you buy the bottom of the cycle versus if you buy the top and you have to wait all the way until the next top for you to get back to break even, and then it goes into price discovery and then you make money, right? Versus if you buy the bottom, you can make money on the way up to the prior top. So it does matter. But for me, like I've always kind of tried to train myself to just block out noise, fundamentals, like sentiment, a lot of that stuff. Because it just feels like noise when I'm just looking at a chart. Like I try and train myself to just say, okay, like I just really want to know like what is the structure and what are like the potential outcomes that could happen. So yeah, I remember you guys asking me about that one, and it was like, well, I've never really looked into it. I really don't know what's happening with the project, but here's what I'm seeing on the chart, right? And I do that all the time in the community, where the community will bring something up and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Truthfully, I really don't care. A lot of times it's just like, yeah, like I can appreciate a chart, and it's a bit of a game to me. It's kind of similar to like maybe a puzzle, or even similar to like a video game or something. It's like, to me, there's an element of like I'm solving a riddle of sorts, right? And so to me, it's stimulating. It's like mentally stimulating. It does do something for me in that sense, where I feel like, ooh, like I'm solving something, right? I think one experience that's similar to that I've had in the real world that kind of gives me the same feeling as like chart analysis is I don't know if you've ever done an escape room, but escape rooms are fun. Like they put you in a room that's black or it's dark, like and you're solving your way out of that room. You've got to find clues and how to go to the next room, and then you go to the next room. That's what TA feels like to me. It's like it's less of like absolute prediction, but it's really more of like, okay, what could potentially happen? And I'm like just trying to think of, ooh, what if it does this? What if it does that? What if it does this and that? Then what do we do? And so it's very like a bit of like engineer thinking, of like programmer thinking, right? If then if this then that logic. And so that's kind of what I try to bring to charts, is like, if it does this, then it's probably going to do that. And if it doesn't do that, then it could do this or that. Like, these are my options. I want to know what the options are.
Yeah, it's like keeping it simple, right? Like without
Yeah.
getting into,
No.
like without making it too complex.
No.
Um, but yeah, absolutely, it was a great
And
one. Like no matter
without
who.
without even like tying my identity to it also, right, Lady Trader? Like I don't want to be
Mhm.
super tied to where like what I am tying my identity and my ability to feel good about myself as like a trader to a specific outcome. It's like, no, look, I'm trying to find the closest thing to the truth in the chart.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's the way to go, really. It's, keeping it simple is the way to go. And then, what you also mentioned, even if you're a long-term holder and you look for those best entries, I think those are great. And this
Yeah.
Alpha Meta is not like an asset that I don't like to trade that one. I like to hold
Yeah.
that one just because it has, the staking rewards, it has the pre-sales coming up, which is going to do good. But yeah, also wanted to talk about Angel a little bit. Seems like we are bottoming out here. Um, Seen some green price action for sure. This is really one of those projects that the CEO has clearly said, like, they don't really care about short-term moves here, right? It's going to be a very utility-focused project. They're going to be launching ecosystem partners. If you check out their recent publication or recent news article that they had released, they are going to be launching a lot of projects with the liquidity that's going to be tied to Angel. So that's going to really bring up the value of the token organically. And then, of course, the utility when it's fully live, and every time someone who is interacting with Angel AI app, they do something there, then of course it's going to be tied to certain actions are going to be tied to Angel token. And so I definitely also encourage you to kind of just download the Angel AI app. Even like I'm not gonna tell you to buy or do anything with it, but go ahead and download the app, install the app on your phone, and you can win prizes every day. And it's not like your regular, sometimes it's not like T-Mobile Tuesday where you never win anything. This is something where you actually win a lot of prizes. I've won a lot of Starbucks gift cards. I've won t-shirts. You can even order a t-shirt for free, like it's there. Just go to the app and you can order a t-shirt and you'll get it. But the free slot machine, you can play once a day. My kiddos love it. And it's just a fun activity to do with your kids. Just download the app and do like a little that slot machine play, and then see what you win. Yeah, you're not gonna win every single day, but you're gonna win a lot. Like it's not like T-Mobile Friday where you don't win anything. So definitely encourage you to
Brutal.
download Angel AI. It's good. And it's now it's
That's brutal.
for the people in the US only, by the way. So if you are, they're expanding at some point. They're going to be, expanding internationally as well as far as those slot machine prices go. Of course, Angel is for everybody, no matter where you are. Angel app is for everybody, no matter where you are. You can still benefit from it. But that slot machine is right now for the US residents only. So if you're in the US, download it, play it with your kids. I mean, everybody wins freebies. That's what we love, right? So go ahead and try it. I think you're going to love it. And so, yeah, this is a very fun play, and I'm holding this through and through during the bear market. You guys know my opinion on this year. 2026 will be red. Angel, I'm holding. Alpha Meta, I'm holding. Tears, I'm holding so far. Also, Twin. I've talked about it quite a bit. This is also a pretty awesome project. It seems like, and I did call out 2 levels on this one. Let me see if goodness, takes a little bit of time, and I don't like that. Dex tools. I'm gonna have to convert it next time to Dex Screener or another platform. Okay, here we go. So I was basically saying that anything really under 600K, even if we get to under 500K, is a great level. We did get there. I know a lot of you accumulated there. And then the second level was, of course, this one. I did call out this level, right? This is like the classic bits of wealth zone flip trade where you look
Yep.
for a big move where the price moves away
Yep.
from it and then comes back and retest. And I mean, it did it organically.
That's beautiful.
It was pretty awesome. Organic, retest of this. And then, of course, I know some of you got into this one as well. So this is working out well. They still have some VC vesting,
That
but
looks
this is
really
also a
bullish,
big,
actually. That looks very, very bullish.
yeah. See, now Bits does not know much about this token at all. He does not know
No,
the fundamentals, but he
no.
knows the chart and he's telling you this is looking bullish, which is awesome. It just adds to my confirmation, right? And from the fundamental perspective, I can tell you, I mean, it's first of all extremely undervalued.
What's the market
FTV is
cap?
only seven.
No.
Uh,
Wow.
32 currently, but 722 FTV.
Total. Yeah.
So it has some early rounds, right, like vesting, but I think it seems like it has bottomed out. We've been in this range for a long time.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
but
still
also
small
they have,
though. Yeah, it's early.
huh?
That's still
Yeah,
early
it's
and young. Yeah.
super early, young, fully doxed, very
Wow.
professional team. Like if you look up Twin Token, check out their team. Very, very experienced, and they're pretty much, it's like a company. It's like a real business. They have
Mm.
real revenue coming in. Twin vaults are going live. Twin vaults are already live, but utility is going live also. And if you look at their roadmap, like the Q1 roadmap, man, I mean, it's super bullish. And you know what? What happens with some of these teams that actually are very much running their business like a real company, they actually get more excited during the bear market because they want to build and they want to stand out even more.
Mm.
And it's like Twin is fully focused on building, 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 and delivering it. So even though price does not reflect what they're doing at all, it's crushed pretty badly. There were some mishaps also during the launch, when that happened. And so it wasn't like the smoothest launch ever, but really it didn't have anything to do with the team itself. Like the team is extremely very experienced and they know what they're doing. It's a big team, really nice team, and they're running it like a business. And you're going to see it, it's going to reflect in the chart at some point in the future. I think we are super early in this one, so I'm happy, to be honest, because personally I was able to buy as well, quite a bit at the bottom. And I'm also, full disclosure, I do advise this team very closely as well. So just wanted to throw it out there. I do advise Angel as well. I do advise Alpha Meta. And so just wanted to throw it out there because I know that could add to it, right? Like my bias a little bit. But really, I only work with teams that I know are going to do incredible. I'm not like, I don't collaborate with everybody. And so I'm cautious about everything. But yeah, this is like a bullish chart for sure. And so this was a good opportunity to get in to this one. So this is doing good. Called out Hachi. I know Colombo actually was the one who sent a super early alpha on this one. And let's take a look at this one. So I actually did call using Bits of Wealth's meme TA, which, at one point, as you all know, I used to think it was the craziest thing ever, and memes cannot respect TA and blah, 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 until he showed me what he does. And it's like, all right, that's pretty much like a 95%, 98% accuracy there. And it was pretty crazy. So we did call out 1 mil market cap for this one. It did do that. And then, of course, using that method, you do need to know that what you're doing, right? 2 to 3x
Yep.
is what you're looking for. But if
Expected.
you did
Yep.
get into this 1 mil, you are already at 2x. Hopefully they
Yeah,
actually do
sounds right.
well after this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it does well, especially if the market continues, right? This is another thing too. Markets are doing pretty awful right now, so I'm being very
Yep.
cautious about everything. I mean, right now, of course, it's doing well this year, but I mean, beginning of the year, beginning of the month, beginning of a new quarter, if any moves happen, they are pretty much fake. I mean, we should all know this by now.
Mm.
And so I'm just cautious. But yeah, this one actually 1 mil market cap. I did miss this entry on this one, but it seems like it's doing well. So those of you who caught it, congratulations. I know I called it also on stream quite a bit as well. So this is doing well. Another one that I'm in right now, I am not an advisor to them. I think it's a very risky play. But this one I did accumulate quite a bit at the bottom for this one, for Kokoro. This is the first black ship. I don't know how, like, I'm kind of looking at it to see, okay, they haven't moved yet, but it might do some numbers. Even if it doesn't, I mean, I'm going to be in profit because I did accumulate at the lows, so I'm okay with it. It's going to be a break even, if anything, if it doesn't do anything. But hopefully it could make some move here because I think the narrative is good. They have a good community, and some good callers and KOLs too. So hopefully it does well. This one I was actually watching, and I actually found this one super early. Again, I don't know anything about this project, don't know the team, but I was looking at the chart, and man, I was watching it when it was way low, and I was like, maybe I should buy. I'll show you where it was actually. It was very low. It was like at 38 to 40K market cap or somewhere around there, or even lower than that, somewhere around here, I think. And then it flew after that. It was, it was crazy. But I didn't get into this one because I felt it was a little bit risky. They did say from the creator of Yi is doing really good. Again, I don't know the team, but I know that project is doing really, really awesome right now. So I should have bought a little bit here, but I did not. I'm like, nah, this is another thing too. I don't FOMO into things, right? I'm okay with staying out. And I'm okay with even missing some moves. So stayed out of this one, and it seems like it did run significantly. So really glad for anybody who did catch the bottom, because they were also doing a lot of marketing on DX tools. They were, constantly doing the boosters and things like that. So if you caught it, then this worked out well, it seems. I don't know where else it's gonna go. Maybe it will top out soon, but yeah, it was a good one. But yeah, that's really all of the place that I'm in. Besides BTC, which again I'm not in it right now, but watching it for a potential short opportunity. Same levels that Bit has said. We could potentially go a little bit above that here. Watching this level, of course, lots of liquidity sitting here, right? This is where all the
Yeah.
stop losses are. So it's just a matter of time when those stop losses are taken, potentially going up to about 100K, maybe a little bit lower. We'll just have to see. This is another level too right here, right, that we need to watch. This is really that zone flip area. So there is VWAP too that Bits was talking about. So big levels here at 100K. If we go there, I think there's also a simple moving average, which I don't use, but I know Kelvin Veit uses a lot of simple moving averages. So we will, when he comes back on Friday for FOMO Friday, he can get into this. But I know he was also calling for that 100 EMA or 100K level to be retested potentially before another leg down. So overall bearish for the year, but hopefully we get some green price action. I mean, we all love green markets. KOLs love it. Content creators love it. Spaces hosts love it. I love green markets too. I mean, if it was up to me, I would make sure we never have a red year ever in our lifetime. But unfortunately, that's not how the markets move. So I can only present the data and be as honest as I can be, right? Instead of being the moon girl who tells you we are going to the moon, guys, buy the dip. And then the next thing you know, you're sitting at 60K Bitcoin, and that's not going to be very good, right? You're going to say, what the heck, I lost all of my money. And so I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to just tell you how the markets are going to play out over the year. And following historical data has so far been very awesome. I mean, I publicly sold my position when I did. It was around, the first week of October, and even some in September, which was basically, where was it? Here somewhere, right? When it topped out, this was another area too that I actually did call out that this is looking bad. It's not looking very good. And then, of course, we did retest a little bit. Pretty much all of my positions were exited between 118 and 126, which was pretty phenomenal. Like, I think it was a perfect exit. I could not have been happier with that, right? And I don't think we are even going to go as far as 118, right? I'd be very surprised if we even go to 110. I'd be happy if we get there, but I don't think we are going to even get that far. So yeah, that's really what we have. And I know, Bits, you had that horse coin that you wanted to talk about as well. Your levels. Do you want to share your chart there?
Yeah, I could pull it up real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna remove myself from there. And of course, if anyone has any questions, of course, feel free to leave a comment. We'll respond to that. If we don't get back to you right away during the stream, we'll definitely do that right after.
Goes this one. Yep. All right, let me know if you can see it.
I'm gonna add you to the
Oh,
stage.
you got it. Yeah, you got to throw it up. Yep. There you go.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah. So look, this has been a fun one. It's funny because some of their community members are getting like very triggered by the fact that I'm like talking about this, but look, I'm gonna reframe it a little bit, right? I'm gonna reframe it. So when this was up here, I was posting about it coming back under 2 mil, right? And I gave and you can go back, you can look at this if you just search my name with FKH, it'll come up. I've got it, it's all threaded. So from the first time I talked about it, then every post that I've made is under that thread, like on X. So you can go back, you can look at that. But when it was up here and everyone was calling how this thing was going to 50 mil or whatever was next, I was telling people it's coming back under 2 mil. Somewhere between 1 to 2 mil, you're going to get an opportunity to buy. People saw it as FUD, right? They saw it as I'm FUDding. I'm going to reframe it a little bit and tell you that I gave you the best entry, and I don't think anyone else on CT. I'd challenge you to go out there and find me someone who was telling you to wait because you were going to be able to buy at under 2 mil instead of top blasting at 10 mil, right? So I'll challenge you. Go out there, find me someone else who was talking about this. And then it happened. And we bought it live on a stream. Actually, it might have been on a Monday or Tuesday. We bought it down
Mm-hmm.
here and we said it's going to come up here and we're going to sell it somewhere at about 6.5 to 7 mil. That's where it went. So we took this trade and we made this profit here that was available for us to capture there. So we did that trade. Then it chopped. I also have a post where I said, look, this thing is going to chop, and there's a potential it could either come back down here to the lows one more time, or it's going to finally break up. And in that case, we'll chill and we'll wait for a bullish retest of this like 7-8 mil level, right? And it went with that. It went with the latter. It didn't do the move down here again. Instead, it broke out. And during this whole thing here, everyone from this community has been saying of, oh, I was so wrong, and I'm a fudster, and I'm just negative, and who's paying me? Someone is telling me, you're a paid fudder. You're a paid fudder. Someone's paying you to fud this chart. It's like, no, I'm just telling you the best places to buy. If you didn't get in over here during this right here, like sub 2 mil, sub 1 mil, then why would you buy this pump? Why wouldn't you have waited for this bullish retest of this structure, right? Like this is very simple stuff. And I do the same TA on macro coins. Like it doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. It all moves the same. But let me show you here, right? So you had like very simple. You had prior structure, prior highs, you break out, it chops, you come back, you flip that to support, and then it goes higher, right? So what did you have here? Same thing. You had highs, right? And this zone could be a little wider. Like maybe honestly, it's like that. This could be a better representation of it. But you have all these highs, breaks out, chops. What are you getting right now? You're getting a bullish retest of these prior range highs. So although you can sit here and you can say that, hey, Bits was fudding the chart up here, telling you that it was coming back to 7 to 8 mil market cap, which it's currently at 9.5, right? It's coming. I'm a patient man, guys. I'm a very patient man. It is coming to my entry, and we will buy it here, and then we'll play it for that next leg up, right? And we'll take profits probably around here. We'll probably be TPing this a little bit, close to about 13 to 14, and then we'll leave a piece on because it could probably go higher, right? But this is the best entry. If you didn't get this entry, and if you didn't get in here, this is the best entry you're going to get right here coming up. And if you're a patient person, and if you're smart, you can take advantage of that. Or you could do what everyone else does, which is they love the top blast and they buy that, and then they're sitting through all of this when they could have just bought a whole lot more of the coin if they had waited for the best entry, right? Or if they'd taken some profits. Maybe you take my post when I'm calling for lower as a signal that I better maybe take a little bit of profit there. So, but yeah, this has been a fun one. It's working its way down. I'm a patient dude. Like I'll sit here and I'll wait for this thing to come down to target. I shared, by the way, so when I shared that this was coming here, this thing was over 10 million when I said it was coming under 2 mil. When I said this was coming back to 7 mil again, this thing was over 16 mil. So I'm a patient dude. Like, I'm willing to wait for this to come down. And, those that are paying attention are getting some of the best entries on this coin. If you think this narrative is going to stick, if you think this thing's going to go to 50 mil, 100 mil, I would just challenge you to reframe the way you're thinking about guys like me who are telling you where the best entries are for this coin. If this is a trade you want to take, you can keep thinking I'm fudding. You can think that me telling you that you're about to be able to buy it significantly cheaper is a bad thing. But I'd say that that's more of a personal psychology issue with yourself, because you're trying to justify why you bought it so much more expensive than you could have. So, and look, if you bought high, don't be afraid to buy low. Hit it low. Bring that dollar cost average down. If you don't want to sell, that's fine. Like that's another strategy to play this. But yeah, I'd challenge anyone on here, anyone that's listening, anyone that's from this community, find me one other account. Find me just one other account that above 10 mil told you it was coming to 2 mil, and above 16 mil told you it was coming back down under 10 mil again, 7 to 8 mil as an absolute buy target. Find me just one out of the thousands of accounts on CT. Just find me one other account.
That's Bits of Wealth. Mic drop right there. That's why we have him here. No, Bits, this was really awesome. And it really boils down to discipline as well, right? Like we as traders, as investors, as holders, as KOLs, when you're looking at an opportunity, there are times when maybe like you're waiting for that and you're like, okay, you know what, it's going to come back down to this level. Most of the time it will. Probably 85 to 90% of the time it will come back to your level. Sometimes maybe it won't, right? Maybe like 5% of the time it won't, or maybe 2% of the time it won't. And when it doesn't, then it's okay. You're like, okay, I'm willing to walk away. I'm not going to take this trade because it's not giving me the price that I want. It's not giving me my preferred price, and it's okay, right?
Absolutely. That's the perspective you have to have, and it's one of the biggest pivots that I made that allowed me to be consistently profitable and much more profitable than I was before was trading on my terms, not chasing trades, not feeling like I have to be in a trade. But and look, a lot of successful business coaches and entrepreneur coaches talk about the same thing, which is it's a lack and a poverty mindset versus an abundance and success mindset. At the root of
Mhm.
it, that's what it is. If you think that there's a lack of money, a lack of opportunity, a lack of chances for you to do stuff, then there is going to be a lack of that. If you think there's an abundance, that there's always another one, that if you miss this, it's okay because there's another one coming, right? Then there
Yep,
there will there will
exactly.
be an abundance of that. And so I made a decision a while back, and I said, no, I'm gonna have a mindset of abundance about this, and I'm gonna play the market on my terms. I'm gonna take the trades that I want, and the ones that don't play out the way I want, I'm willing to let those go. I'm willing to say,
Yep.
okay, I was wrong. It didn't come down as deep as I thought it was go, or it didn't go as high as I thought, and I'm okay and I move on. But I want to play the ones that meet all of the criteria that I have, the ones that give me the best setups. Because those typically produce the best results.
Yep. No, absolutely. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
And it's, same goes to trading, right? If it's not going to line up with all of your, confirmations, then it's
Mhm.
okay to stay out of it. By the way, Bitcoin it might do this correction here, but it seems like it may be trying to roll over.
I
Um,
just don't
if
like that it hasn't given like a big high volume buy yet to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
upside.
that's
Like
the
I
only thing.
typically like it when it gives that last little shoot up and then we see on the volume the big green followed by a big red. It's like, oof,
Hmm.
talk about beautiful setups. Like that's the one I want.
Yeah. No, those are the best ones, really, especially like on if you go to hourly chart, they
No.
are, the best setups. But what I'm looking at right now, potentially, let me actually share. Let's see if it will.
And we're a few we still have a few hours left in the day, yeah. So
Yeah. So just looking at this one, right? So if we do take this low right here, maybe 93.9, if it does close below this,
mhm.
um, we could potentially retest either 50 or even maybe go as low as, this 200 EMA here. So, but it could also be like a small retracement just at the end of the day, right? Because we still have a couple of hours, actually, a few
True.
hours until we roll over into Asia. So, this is going to be very interesting daily. Yeah, I wouldn't short it here, not right now. Um, Probably tomorrow if it goes above this, and maybe even here, and then give us a pattern. It could be like a small pullback to create a bit, higher move. But yeah, this is looking interesting. This,
Yeah, we're
this
in
was
the
the
right
only.
we're in the right like vicinity for a
Yeah, yeah,
short, right? Like it's
exactly.
anywhere between like 93.5, call it 94, but really 93.5, which was the the 2024, no, this was the 20, golly, I'm off of here. This was the 2025 yearly open was 93.5, right? That's what we opened last
Hmm.
year. And
Hmm.
so that and that,
93.3 or something. Yeah.
yeah, and that's this level here basically on the chart, right? Like we're slightly above that. We're at 94.3, right? We're $1,000 above that. But anywhere between
Hmm.
here, call it 94 up to about like 96 is kind of that immediate zone for a potential rejection.
Yeah. And this is how, like, when you're looking at it, right? Where are the stop losses for anyone who shorted
Yeah,
here? It's
yeah,
probably
right
like
above
right
that.
here.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
where are the stop losses for people who shorted somewhere here? They're probably putting their stop losses here. So this is really going to be a liquidity hunt. So we are, price could go up a little bit, right? So maybe it will go up a little bit here and then maybe some downside. Or, we could also go up a little bit and then reject there somewhere. So could
Right.
be, those two for sure. So I'm going to be looking for that kind of move there, maybe on a smaller time frame, looking for some opportunities. Another thing I want to call out, by the way, you guys will know this is like my signature move, but one thing that I did notice when the price, like especially on the 15 minutes chart, because that's what I really look at, how the price is acting at key levels. And so key levels were this one right here was what? It was monthly and yearly open. And price just basically crashed above and did not retest. And I hated it. I'm like, you know what? If it did a retest and closed above, I would have just bought it like a lot. But it did not do that. And so what this tells me is price is definitely coming back to this. There's just not, it's not, if it's a matter of when. Same with this EMA here, 800 EMA. If you notice, we just crashed through, never retested. It's definitely coming back down. So those are like just adding to my confirmation of why I think price is going to be coming back down, sooner rather than later. That's really why. And so, and if I'm not mistaken, did it retest here even? Yeah, I guess it did this one. So this was okay. But those levels are untested. They're going to be like price is going to be heading back down there at some point. When is the question, but it's definitely going back down there. So keep watching that. Again, just to kind of, before we wrap up, I can't emphasize enough on this death cross, because crypto Twitter, you gotta check out everybody who started talking about death cross and when they did that, because it's just silly, because people were talking about death cross when we were already bottoming out. We were here, even here. This is where really it got loud. We had a death cross.
It's always late.
Yeah, always late, right? And usually when you have to catch it right there, right when it happens, right when the death cross happens. And then you should always know that after the death cross, price is going to go back up and retest. And it doesn't matter if it's a death cross or if it's the golden cross or bullish cross, price will always come back to those EMAs and retest. First one I called out already retested, and now we are heading back. Hopefully we will retest this 200 EMA. If not, maybe it will just go slightly above and then, just crash here. That's a possibility. But yeah, if we could get somehow a couple of months of green candles, that would be pretty awesome. Like, look at this one. We have some major levels here too. Like, this is an area of interest as well. 95 will be an area where we could potentially see a little bit of a rejection. But even during 2022, we had 4 months of green. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 green months. I mean, they were not as big, very small range, but there were opportunities during these green months, right? Maybe alts did a little bit better than that. And then, so hopefully something like this we could see, right? We had 3 red months. We had 3 red months here. Maybe now we can get 2 green months in Q1. And then maybe in Q2, we can look for some downside, right? With summer coming, we are just going to blame it on summer. If it was not summer, then we wouldn't see this, right? We're going to make those excuses, of course. But it would make sense. We are going to be getting close to summertime, late spring, early summer. But let's see if we can catch that, right? Would love to see something like this, 2 green candles. Even if it's choppy, I mean, it creates a lot of opportunities for small cap coins and projects that are actually building something. That's really awesome. So definitely wanted to call that out. Let's see, anything else, Bits, that you want to bring up?
No, I don't think so. I think right now it's just all eyes on BTC. We need BTC to calm down a little bit, I think, and possibly either reject or cool off, and then depending on what happens, right? If it just goes sideways, then I think some of these alts could continue to push up and maybe play catch up. But ooh, man, Sui's getting a heck of a pump right now. Also, that's a big pump on Sui. Okay, yeah, these alts, I think they wanna move. Some of these alts, they really want to go. It's very interesting watching some of these, but but all eyes on BTC. BTC gets a nasty rejection, it's gonna pull everything down. BTC pulls
Yeah.
back, 10 to 20%. These alts, some of them are gonna pull back, 40% plus.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to call out one more because this was actually one that people in the Telegram community, they actually got into pre-sale for this one, and you also had the opportunity to buy the dip, which we did call during a stream as well. This was the dip that I specifically called, that when we get to this level, this will be a buy. It went a little bit below that level, but it was okay. It gave you like a beautiful entry, and then of course now it's going crazy again. But this coin, Reply Corp, I can't brag enough about this, and especially their founder. This is going to be a Web 2 to Web 3 kind of like a hybrid company. Their business is on the Web 2 side. What they're doing is onboarding a lot of businesses to use their product on social media. It's like a social media engagement app where you can actually incentivize your community in certain ways. So let's say if somebody talks about your brand and they manage their followers buy something, then you automatically get rewarded for that. It's a really phenomenal concept if you actually learn more about it. And this is like I'm just scratching the surface. There's so much good about the fundamentals of this project. But one thing that I wanted to call out, the founder of this project actually is a Web3 gaming native. Like he comes from Web3 gaming. He's also been part of the Wolf community, as you know, he's been speaking on Wolf's Web3 gaming spaces every once in a while. He was there, but he kind of like he launched this project, and it's exemplary, the way that everything is working out, and the way that he's so protective of his chart. Like the advisors who were supposed to get their tokens at TGE, he basically told them, nope, I'm not going to give you your tokens, but I'm going to give you the equivalent of USDT. So if you choose to buy it, that's okay, but I'm not going to send you the tokens because I don't want you to sell the tokens and hurt the chart. And I don't really see that in crypto. Usually people are like, yeah, I'll just send the tokens. That's basically how a lot of founders do it, right? They actually send KOL's tokens versus sending them USDT. That's usually how it goes, and it's bad for the chart. And so he's very protective of the chart. Like I've never seen anyone so protective of the chart, and also has true utility where anytime a Web 2 business, they've onboarded the biggest trucking company in the US to use their products. So whenever they are buying, the credits go to burn the buyback token and burn it basically in the open market. So the tokenomics are very strong for this. And so I think it has a good fundamental, especially during the bear market. So I'm excited for what Jordan is doing. Like he's absolutely crushing it. And I mean, look at it. It had a new all-time high today. And when they launched, markets weren't the best, and they still did pretty awesome. So if you got into pre-sale, you're up. If you bought the dip, you're way up. But this was a very good play, and something that I'm bullish on. Every time there's a dip, that's definitely an opportunity that I'm taking advantage of. So wanted to throw that out there as well, because I haven't really talked about it today. This had a new all-time high. So yeah.
Awesome.
And Chart Guy, my God, like how could we forget Chart Guys? we can't forget Chart Guys. Right? We are the Chart Guys. Okay, so Chart Guy, let's take a look at it. Just a Chart Guy. Okay, so Chart Guy is sitting at 74K market cap. I have a position in it, pretty large position in it actually, and I'm gonna hold it. I do support the cause. To me, it's really about supporting the community more so than anything else. So this is just a group of traders that have kind of joined forces together, and they want to push this chart, of course, but they also are passionate about trading education. They are building a platform on their website where they are posting information and also sharing information about other traders that are out there that are very awesome traders, right? Successful traders. And so bringing a lot of visibility to those chart guys at the same time, and also bringing a lot of educational opportunities for the community, doing a lot of live stream with trading and all of that. This is really, I mean, I like their community. I for this one, I will say I am in it for the vibe. I'm in it because I am a chart girl and I support the chart guys. That's really what I'm here for. But you want to add to that? I know you are also very close to the team. You know the team very well.
Yeah, look, I think it's a cultural thing. It definitely is. They've actually got a really good post on, if you go to the X page at just a chart guy, I think is what it is. Yeah, just a chart guy. The pinned post, I think is beautiful. It's like if you're a TA person, if you're a trader, Go read that. It's called the Chart Guy Lore, a reflection on what we've lost and what we must build or rebuild. Right? We're basically going to rebuild this, but um, this to me, like when I read that, and also when I first talked to the team, right, and it was like, well, what are we doing with this? Like, what is this? Um, and they just basically told me, like, I mean, I don't know, like we're all chart guys. Everyone's a chart guy. I'm chart guy. You're chart guy. Like we're all chart guy. Anyone who's on CT is chart guy. If you're using TradingView, you're a chart guy. If you have Dex tools, Dex Screener, you're a chart guy. If you're doing Pump Fund, you're a chart. Like we're all chart guy. And I was like, ooh, you're right. So and it's evolved. Like the team's got some ideas where there's going to be like a chart guy repo that's coming up, which I think like some of the tools that are going to come out of this community are going to be awesome. And not all of it's going to be from the team. I think a lot of it'll be from community members, but there's going to be like trading bots that can come out of this. There's going to be repos that have like vetted accounts that are safe, or at least are recommended for traders to follow. Apps, maybe like good trading apps that are reliable and good for people. So just think of like everything you can build for chart guys by chart guys. So yeah, I'm in it for the vibes. I'm in it for the culture. I think this one is one that could become something cool. There could be a lot of streams that can come out of this as well. If there's ever just a chart guy YouTube channel and people can come on and do live streams like as guests, chart guys. There's a lot of cool stuff, man. There's a lot of cool stuff that can happen with this one. So yeah, I also have a big holding in chart guy. I'm not planning on touching it. I don't really want to trade it. I don't want to do anything. I want to hold it. I want to contribute to this community and to this cause in any way that I can. And yeah, I think 2026 is the year of the chart guy. So send it.
Absolutely. It is the year of the chart, guys. I mean, we love bull market or bear market, right? We know how to make money in both. But I will also add that Bits sent an alpha on this one super early. I think it was like 18K market cap. So if you are in alpha seedlings in our Telegram community, then you got in super early. You made a pretty big return, like went at all-time highs, right? It did really phenomenal. So I think it was pretty awesome. And then there was also a dip right after that. So we got in actually before it was bonding, right? Before it bonded. Yep. We got in before it bonded. And you had dips even after it was shared during the bonding, right? Because a lot of times those snipers get in and they sell, so they create dip as well for you to get in. So it was a pretty awesome opportunity. And if you are not part of our Telegram community, please send us a DM. One of us can add you to Alpha Seedlings, which is a Telegram community. It's not a paid community, by the way. So if somebody's trying to add you to some VIP group, it doesn't exist right now. So please just DM us, DM our account, and we'll get you added. You can join and you can benefit from the group, because there's a lot of alpha that's sent out pretty much on a daily basis, right? One or other play. Like community members also share alpha. There is even a DGen section in the group that you could take a look at and see if it's something that you like. The good thing about this is that I do encourage all the members, whenever they are bringing any opportunity to the group, is to share a thesis as well of why they are bullish on something, right? And then of course that helps us. So share your due diligence with the group, not just hey, I'm aping this. Like, don't do that. Share a micro thesis about why you are bullish on this. So that's definitely important. But yeah, that's really it. I mean, I'm excited for these people, chart guys. Absolutely love the community that they're building, and I'm a chart girl, so I support the community. I see Ash has joined as well. Ash, GM.
What's up, brother? Early morning in the down under.
Yes. We need to get him up here one of these days, because the indicators that Bits and I use, it's just absolutely fantastic, and there are so many strategies that you could use with those indicators. And so we need to bring Ash up here, because it is Ash's indicators that he's created. I will leave the links down below after the stream is over, by the way, if anyone wants to take a look at those, and even they even have a free trial that you could try it for a few days and see how you like it.
And Ash has been great too, because he's like modified. He's continued to modify and update that indicator to
Mhm.
kind of suit like quite a bit of like my trading style, which also has a lot of overlap with the way he trades. But yeah, I'm like very grateful to Ash for that because he's very receptive of feedback and he just wants to make like a just a badass indicator.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's awesome, very very awesome. And I will tell you, I don't like to trade FOMC. I don't
Yeah.
like to trade major news events. And this year, I actually, or this quarter, I did trade FOMC this past quarter, and it was basically based off of that indicator, hourly chart, and it was just beautiful. Like at least one of those trades was that indicator. And then the other trade was after I took the trade, it was a good setup. And then of course it confirmed with this indicator. So it was really awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. We will be back again on Wednesday. As I said, we will be doing these
Yes.
streams Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. FOMO Friday will be the one that we will be doing on Fridays. But regular trading streams twice a week, and then of course Bits has his own streams as well on his page that he
Yes.
does during the evening times when you can find some setups as well. So definitely
Yep.
encourage you to join him. And then of course we do a lot of spaces throughout the week as well on Wolf
A lot.
Spaces and others too. So definitely give
Yeah.
us a follow and make sure that you're following us wherever we go so you can get all the alpha from us.
Yeah.
Thank you
There
for
you go.
joining. Thanks, Bits. Have a wonderful
Yeah.
rest of the day, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.